Oh, yeah, dude, same here. That shit still happens to me all the fucking time.
Check my phone.
That shit happens to me all the fucking time.
Silent. Like, I can't even have the vibrate.
Oh,
because
see.
it'll literally, it just never stops. Like,
Mm-hmm.
in the times when it is not, you just never expect it. So, like, my daughter might be asleep, and then it's like, fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Associations may be disorganized, and time and space relationships are lost.
You ready to go, Shelby?
I'm ready to go. I'm going to save that joint, though. You got me really baked.
I did get you really baked. That's probably just what I do all the time.
It is
You're
what
always
you do.
super baked whenever you come over.
I feel like Gizmo right now.
On that note, hello everybody and welcome to the Hippy Speedball podcast, the best fucking cannabis culture podcast in the world. It is Joe, your host with the most, Joe. And real quick before we begin, want to give a shout out to Happy Cannabis for providing the beautiful coffee mugs and have us so much faith in the show from the very beginning. Much love, you guys. I really appreciate everything you do. And as always, I am joined by my partner Shelby. Shelby, how the fuck we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm tired as fuck this morning. So today on the show, we have the pleasure of being joined by a fucking amazing rapper who's really popping up in the scene, making a huge ass name for himself, and was able to fucking scrounge this episode up last minute, and we greatly appreciate it. So everybody, welcome Swiggle Mandela to the Hippy Speedball podcast. Thanks for fucking coming through, brother.
Course, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, dude. How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good. Ready to spark up in a minute. This is my wake and bake. I haven't smoked yet, so.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm glad to be a part of it, bro.
Of course.
Thanks for coming through. So just, while you're rolling that up, let's go ahead and give the people a little introduction, man. Where are you from and how did you get started in music? And how did you come up with the name Swiggle Mandela, man? I got to know that first.
So I guess we'll do the Swiggle Mandela first. So my first name is Bo-Mandela.
Okay.
So that's my first name.
That's cool.
I have four names because I have a middle name and a last name. So it's like me and my brothers, I think my sister too. We all have four names.
That's fucking dope, man. Bo Mandela is my name's
sure.
Joe. That's a great fucking name.
Yeah, shout out to my mom. She named me.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know how this worked out. I think maybe they already planned my little brother because my dad had dibs on names.
Okay.
So I was the only one my mom got to name. So she was like, she's gonna go all out.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. She did a great fucking job. Shout out to your mom. That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, my mom is black. My dad's Filipino. So
hell yeah.
She named me after Nelson.
Nice.
So fucking crazy name, strong name. I didn't used to go by Mandela. I used to just go by Bo growing up because that shit got complicated. After a while,
sure. I could imagine.
First grade, telling everyone you go around the class, everyone says their name. Eventually, by middle school, I would say my whole name, but I'd be like, my name is Bo Mandela, but I just go by Bo.
There you go.
So then, because before I'm like, my name is Bo Mandela, it's hella people like, huh? Wait, huh? What'd you say? So
they're just like,
yeah.
nuh-uh.
And
it's a dope name though, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So yeah, then one year I started going by Mandela. Actually, my homie Justin Clay, which is crazy. This is my dog, man. One of my homies from high school. Somebody had made a song about me, kind of making fun of my name, and nobody knew that was my name. So somebody made a song, and people were hearing Mandela, what the fuck is that? Who is that?
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of it was like a joke. People thought it was funny, and so I just kind of brushed it off. But then I was kicking it after school with my homeboy, and he was like, "So where did that come from? Why are people calling you Mandela?" I'm like, "That's my name." And he was like, "What?" I showed him my ID. He's like, "Because my rap name used to be Left Lane, the left lane, the fast lane." And he was like, "Bro, that's your real name."
That's a dope rap name, by the way.
Appreciate
That's a sick ass MC name.
He was like, "That's your actual name?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Bro, that's got to be your rap name." Stop. The fuck? And I'm like, "For real?" He's like, "Bro, that sounds like Wiz Khalifa or something." You know
Yeah. I mean, for real.
So I'm like, okay. I feel you.
You were blessed with a very fucking good name.
Appreciate it. So then I started going by Left Lane Mandela. And then eventually the left lane just dropped, and I was just Mandela. And then around like 2010, I was watching MTV Jams. I used to be the shit. Just watch MTV Jams. Now it's BET Jams, but I used to watch MTV Jams just all day. Like, at least one of the TVs had to have MTV Jams.
I remember MTV Jams, dude. That's some old school shit right
for
there.
sure. So we be watching.
For those that don't know,
the
when
fucking...
MTV actually played music
For
at
sure,
one
for
point,
sure.
it was true. People, they did at one point. The rumors are true.
So we were watching MTV Jams, and this video comes on, and this dude, he has a chain that's Washington, Oregon, and California. It's like a big ass chain.
That's cool.
And I never seen nobody rep Oregon and Washington like that. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and he was on a song with Jim Jones from Dipset. And you know, Jim Jones is one of my favorite growing up, so it really caught my attention. Like, what the? And they were in Seattle, like driving around Ferraris and shit. So I'm like, who the fuck is?
You're like, who the fuck are these
in
guys?
In Seattle with Jim Jones, with Oregon on his
with the
chain.
whole West Coast on your freaking
this
chest.
is crazy. Like, and so when it came on, we would always be stoked. Like, oh shit, there's that dude from Seattle. Like, what the fuck? And so at the time I was working, I was like interning for the Bureau of Transportation, which is fucking just crazy to be the person who comes to this type of podcast.
Yeah,
and then,
I know, right? Hey, man, that's actually the point of this podcast, is because it
fucking-
brings everybody together,
Exactly.
no matter who you are or where you're from. Doesn't matter.
I was doing I was doing the internship, and I'd be doing fucking crazy shows and shit like right before I'd go fucking work at the Bureau of Transportation early in the morning. So sometimes I'd be like in my cubicle fucking sleep. Like, I remember one time I was in my cubicle, like leaned back in the chair, and like you can just see me hanging out the cubicle. I remember like one of my coworkers was like, "Bro, if you're gonna sleep, like get inside."
Yeah, at least like, lean this way.
Yeah.
This time.
I'm just like hanging out the back.
Well, that's fucking cubicles and that fucking gray carpet material
For
they surround you.
sure.
Will knock you the fuck out. Yeah, I've been in cubicles before.
So then my phone rings, and it's my homie. He went by A&T at the time, but he goes by Tie-Dye Mackin now. I had known him since because I have been rapping since middle school. So he was in high school when we first met, and it was just like, yo, who's this young rapper? Like, this is kind of crazy. So he was already doing his thing. And yeah, he would just tell me like, "Yo, shit is hot." Like that shit would mean a lot from like one of the older homies. And so he called my phone while I was at work, and so I called him back on the work phone. I'm like, "Yo, what's up? What's going on?" And he said, "There's this dude in town. His name is Swag. And I'm like, "Wait, does he have a song with Jim Jones?" He's like, "Yeah, that's the dude." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he's trying to do features, but I'm not ready." And he told me to call like the top dogs, like who's ever's ready to do the shit. And so I'm calling you, like, you want to do a feature with him? I'm like, I don't know. He told me a certain price, and I'm like, I don't know if I can afford it. I'll get back to you. And then I hit him back like, fuck it, we'll do it. And yeah, I think like a couple days later, Swag pulled up to Portland, and he was in like a Skylark on like 22-inch rims or something, 24s. Suede said his name all in the car, and he had like Louis Vuitton backpack and all type of shit. And so we do this song, and it's called Northwest Coastin'. It's still on YouTube right now. I think we did like 100K plays or something because his name was so buzzing at the time. And we started kicking with him tough, just majorly tough. And we went to Seattle with him, man, kicking in the mansions, all type of crazy shit.
That's awesome.
And he took us to a radio station. I remember outside the radio station, somebody called him like, "Hey, yo, Swiggle." And, you know, his name is Swag, but it's kind of like Lil Wayne, you know, Weezy, Jay-Z, Jigga. So he went by Swiggle, and I heard that. I'm like, that's kind of tight. And on some of his songs, he would say it at the beginning, like, Swiggle. And I'm like, man, that's kind of hard. And then with my name being just Mandela, when you would try to YouTube me or, like, Google me.
Yeah, you would disappear in the
it would
freaking
just
algorithm.
Be Nelson,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he ended up getting locked up because he was selling major fucking drugs, and it's public knowledge. Like, it is what it
That'll
is.
happen.
Yeah, he got charged, so it's not like I'm like telling some story.
No, for sure, definitely.
It's on the internet. We can go read it.
Yeah.
They called him fucking Washington's Nicky Barnes. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause
Wow,
he was selling.
that's quite a name.
Yeah, he had so. I mean,
I'm a big gangster geek, so I'm very
For sure.
familiar with Nicky Barnes.
so they like the FBI. They set him up because someone was selling with him that was from the FBI.
Oh.
So they hit him up like, yo, we have 20,000 pills. Meet us here. He showed up with $500,000 or something. So they took all the shit. You know, they probably took $2 million or more from him. But when he went down, that's when I put the Swiggle in front of my name. And my older brother went down too for some other shit, and he was Lil Swag. So Big Swag and Lil Swag both went to jail, and then I put Swiggle on my name to brand it and to represent for the homies.
That's a fucking hell of a story.
Crazy
for a name origin.
Yeah, it is.
That was crazy. I kind of forgot for a minute. That was the only question I've asked so far. that was fucking dope. So, do you play any instruments? Like, what is it like?
Man, honestly, I don't. But my dad made me take piano lessons because my dad plays guitar.
Yeah, I saw that actually in your interview that your dad plays guitar. I was like, that's fucking dope because I started as a guitar player myself. So I was like, I love chit chatting with musicians. Yep. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
He also made me take violin lessons. So like, I could probably if I had memory refresher or some shit, play like the alphabet or something. I mean,
nice.
on the
that's
violin.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
Not much though. You know.
Mostly writing and rapping.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So what's your songwriting process like?
Honestly, it's like I have to live life first. I'm probably taking notes just like all the time. Like,
yeah.
I may take notes while we're talking, you know what I'm saying? Because or watching movies or whatever I'm doing, like, I'll be taking notes. So, for example, I think I was watching a commercial on ESPN, or maybe it was just like a ESPN commercial, and it was a golf commercial, and the announcer was like, they talk all quiet on golf. The announcer was like, "This one is for full possession of the victory." You feel me? And that's a bar in one of my songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, this one's for full possession of the victory. It's all mental. I can't let the pressure get to me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I might be anything. It might be just a word that you say, and I'm like, what? I never heard that before.
And it just triggers that little that's dope, man.
So, documentaries, man, conversations, signs, billboards. I could just be out in nature and something hit me. So, really just living life. And sometimes it's not writing the song. It's like I'll end up with fucking 20, 30 lines. And then while I'm deciding, okay, I'm gonna write a song, I'll refer back to my notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like, and sometimes nothing in my notes fits. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm just gonna have to go from scratch. And I do that. I can do that too. But a lot of the times, I'm like, I need something. Like, I need one of those lines that I thought of that was crazy.
For sure. So you have like almost like a little vault that you're just kind of building, and then you just kind of go back and just, make a little withdrawal from whatever vault it is that you're kind of pulling from. That's awesome, man. And the cool thing is like, cause I've done a little bit of writing, and I've, with and writing in hip hop and stuff. Like, I'm not a rapper, but I do love to write the lyrics, and I got a big passion for hip hop. And so, I've done a little writing. And one thing I like about it is it's almost like a puzzle. Like, right, you only have so many syllables that you can kind of fit in there, and only certain amounts that you can kind of do. And you'll have like one line, you're like, okay, well, if I change this word to this and then move this one or get rid of this one, there's like this almost like a puzzle kind of effect.
For sure.
And like, do you prefer to type your lyrics, or do you prefer to like handwrite them?
Man, for the longest time, I needed to handwrite. Like, we'd be in the studio, and all the homies had like advanced. They all had their phones out. Fucking, I'd be like, I don't know how you guys are doing that shit.
I can't do that's hard for me.
Then it became like I was doing so many songs, and I was in so many sessions that I just didn't have my notebook all the time.
Okay.
It just wasn't with me. Like, could just be kicking it somewhere, and they're like, yo, you want to go to the studio?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
it's just
shit.
like, well, I can't like let me run home and get my notebook real quick.
For sure. And then there was a point in time where like we were in the studio so often that I just didn't even want to write like because I would think of the line and the microphone is like in my face.
Okay,
So-
perfect. So yeah, you would just lay it down right there.
It's like, why am I gonna write? And then we were writing so much that it was just starting to become like a task. Like I really felt like I was working out. You know what I mean? Like just constantly like I didn't even care how it looked anymore. Like it was to the point where I was just making symbols. Like I know that says cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I would be telling that shit to people too, because we would be writing and the homie would be like, well, how do you spell furnace or some shit? I'm like,
It's almost like you're writing in like shorthand, like a court person.
oh, for sure.
Like, you know,
I'm
it's just like
he's like, how do you
small,
spell furnace? I'm like, you're the only one who's going to read that.
right? Yeah. It could
Right?
be just
Spell it however you want.
fur nice. There you go.
Exactly. I might just put a F
Right? Yeah.
because
well,
the-
especially if you have the rhyme already before it, you're already going to have it in your
so
mind.
like a lot of times, even when I write my phone now, it's just like notes. Like I'll just be putting down like vampire, and then I know the next bar is land buyer, and I know, you know what I'm saying. So then like I know that it's vampire. Sometimes I'm like kill him with a stick to the chest like a vampire. Kill him. You know, there's so many ways I can say that. You know what I'm saying? I might be like, if you all I want is acres, I'm a land buyer. Give me more property, I'm a land buyer. Buy apartment buildings, I'm a land buyer. So it's like, I know land buyer is what I want to say. That's the rhyme. So then a lot of times my shit would just be like that. It would only be the
So you're just
rhymes.
kind of finding the connection between the
I
two.
just feel it in.
Nice.
And then
I like that a lot.
I still do the punching thing. Like if I'm at the studio and the homie's like, well, we got an hour left. You want to do one more song? Yep. Just put me in the booth.
Nice.
Put the headphones on, and I'll just figure it out there. Like I don't even want to write it.
You just go Biggie, Lil Wayne status. And you just
For sure.
just feel the whole beat and then just
For
write it
sure.
like that. I got so much respect for MCs that can do that. I got so much respect
But
for you guys.
It's still just it's writing. It's just writing.
It's verbal writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where I tried to write in my mind, like when I was a kid, because I heard about Biggie and Lil Wayne and Jay-Z, and I'm like, this isn't even possible. What type of fuck, like, that's not possible. So I just tried it. Like, the place where I met Ant, we used to record at the Salvation Army when I was in middle school. Like, fucking broken down, hood, free studio. And so,
That's like some movie shit right
for
there.
sure.
It's like super cinematic the way you described that.
And me and my brother be the youngest guys in there. Everyone's in high school. We're in middle school. Just taking notes. Like, I knew I wasn't as good as any of those guys at
But
the
you were
time.
watching.
Yeah. And a lot of them would tell me, you're going to be better than me, because when I was your age, I wasn't as good as you. So you might not know, but you're the greatest to ever do this shit.
Nice. That's
I'd
a
be like-
sweet little boost in
and
confidence.
I would believe it, because I took their word as law. But at the same time, I'm like, nah. Like,
Yeah.
if you're at level 100 and I'm at level 30 right now, you're always going to be those 70 levels ahead of me. So even when I'm at level 100, I expect that guy to be at 170. You know what I'm saying? But like, it didn't always work out that way. Like, even some of my big homies will, you know what I'm saying, let me know, like, this shit's crazy. Because I surpassed a lot of my mentors. You know what I mean? Like, and they helped me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. But we should record at the Sal. And one day, because I get out of school and I'll take the bus to the Sal. The Salvation Army was off of Killingsworth and Williams, like right down the street from Jeff.
Okay, I think I'm familiar with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because I went to church on 33rd in Alberta. Shout out to freaking 35th in Alberta. Shout out to freaking Christ Church on 35th.
For sure. And I went to school down by like Emmanuel Hospital. So
Okay.
it was just like straight bus ride down, down there.
Yeah.
So
I was born in Emmanuel.
I remember I left early that day because I had this verse I was writing in my mind. And I was barely even doing my work in school because I had to keep saying the bars over and over and over again.
You
in my
couldn't let him
head.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, I forgot the 8th bar. Like, damn it. Like, and I just kept doing it over and over and over. So I even left school early that day. Like,
Yeah. I got shit to do,
and I was
teacher.
at
I
the
can't.
bus
I don't
stop,
have
like,
time for this.
Spitting that shit over and over again. Like, I have to remember this shit. And then I got on the bus, and it was constantly fading.
Oh,
Like,
really? Yeah.
and when I got to the studio, I was like, fuck yes. And then you have to sign up. So I got there early so that I could just skip the line. Got in there, laid the shit to the game had that Kanye West beat, Dreams. And
Okay.
I rapped on that beat. And I remember when like all the homies got to the studio, the high schoolers, I'm like, I wrote this in my head. They were like, fuck no. Hell
Get the fuck
nah.
out of here.
Lil Wayne, come on. I'm like, nah, I swear to God. I don't know if I ever got anyone to believe me that day. And I didn't even care because I was like, I fucking did that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote 20-something bars in my mind and just kept them there. And there's a point in time during the day, like, I had a paper bag from the corner store or something, and I remember, like, writing some notes down.
That's
at
so
school.
dope, man.
And
I
was
love
like,
that.
I threw that shit away when it was time to go to the studio because I'm like, this is not what they said they do.
Yeah.
They said it's in their mind strictly. Like there's
I
a
must
notepad
copy
in
the
there.
greats.
I balled that shit up. I'm like, damn it. I forget this shit. And I did. And I got there. I'm telling them like, nah, I wrote that shit in my head. And people was like, bro, no, you didn't. Like, yeah. So I write so many different ways. And
That's awesome, man.
when I'm writing on in my notepad, it usually has lines, but sometimes I might just get a sketch pad with no lines because I never write on the lines.
Okay.
Unless it's like about a show or like merch orders.
Yeah, unless you need like some sort of like actual
I will
structure to
literally
it or something.
Tilt the fucking notebook sideways just so I can just start writing diagonally.
You get more room that way.
Yeah,
you get a hell of a lot more room that way.
And one of my big homies actually told me, man, my dog Big Game James, he's not even in music no more. He's like, yeah, he's not. I would have thought he'd have been right here with me, but you know, shit changed. But he told me, I remember the first time I wrote a verse with him, doing a song with him. He's like one of my really pushed me. He was like, you need to write with 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Because one, you write all your lines over here, and then the lines that make it go over here.
Oh, okay.
So in a sense, like.
So it's like a rough draft and a final draft.
A lot of artists don't write like me because if I'm writing a 16, I'm gonna come up with 32 bars or more. And just because the lines didn't make it in that verse doesn't mean they're not good. It's just that I may use them for another song. Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of where that like stacking came from of just like always having something like
you're just banking them.
Whether it's one line, like I could just open my phone right now and just find one-liners that are incredible.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
I was hoping like maybe before we actually sign off later on, because I got some more stuff to talk about. But before we actually sign off later on, if you wouldn't mind doing a little freestyle, because
sure.
I have a guitar track that I've been wanting someone to rap over for a long time, and you get a lot of instrumentals in your music. So I figure if there's anybody that could fucking pull it off, it'd be you.
For sure.
So before we sign off, I really would like to do that. So
I don't know if it's gonna be a freestyle
or something you wrote. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a freestyle.
There might be a little bit of freestyle in there, though.
That's totally cool. It doesn't even have to be a freestyle. I just want you to spit something over this guitar track, whatever it is you want to do.
Even when I used to freestyle, it used to be kind of like what I just said. Like, if I was going to battle someone, like in high school, I'd be already looking at them like, okay, I need something that rhymes with vest.
There you go.
My verse would be already forming in my mind.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had, speaking of battles, actually, I just was recently checking out that Rip City Heroes page. Like all the battles and shit they do. I didn't even know about that thing. Because I'm like, I'm like just kind of getting on the scene a little bit myself. I'm kind of coming from the shadows. I was out of everything for a very long time, and I'm learning about it. And I've seen some really fucking dope ass people on there.
Yeah, shout out to Rip City Heroes, man. They want me to battle.
I bet they do. I bet they do. I bet you got people hitting you up all the time for all sorts of shit.
I was one of the first guys, man, that he made a card of, and that was super dope. Shout out to Craig and the whole Rip City
for the people
Heroes.
that don't know, Rip City Heroes, what they do is they take like local, and it's just local rappers, right? From what I've seen, so they take local rappers from over here in Portland, Oregon, and they freaking make them like trading cards, like Pokemon cards, with stats. They make them holographic and shit, dude. Have you seen this?
I have
Fuck,
not.
if I would have
follow
known
him on
that
Instagram.
you fucked with it, I would have brought you a card. We're gonna have to do another one, and
We'll definitely be doing another one for sure, man.
But it's hard for me to battle, bro, because like. I almost feel like Mayweather in a sense.
Well, you can just toy with him like he did Logan Paul.
I'm going to actually say, I wouldn't even say like Mayweather, but the legacy that he's put on boxing.
Yeah.
I am like someone who, if boxing was rap, I'm trying to follow his path.
I really like that analogy.
Because, for example,
if you want to be the greatest, you have to.
If you watch, because I'm a movie guy, so I watch documentaries like a motherfucker. Like,
nice.
If it's not horror, if it's not gangster, if it's not suspense, if it's not comedy, because I love them all. Romance, chick flick, doesn't matter what it is. Mm-hmm. I like the weak movies because I'm gonna watch a trash movie and know it's trash.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm gonna still enjoy it.
You're gonna respect for what it is,
for sure.
Exactly.
Like, I watched a movie, I didn't expect Wonder Woman to be weak. I just want to put, like, the second one, 1982, whatever it was.
Yeah, I heard it was not that great. I haven't watched it
and
yet.
Even the movies that are not good, I think are good.
Yeah.
So when someone told me it wasn't good, I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah.
And I watched it, I'm like, damn, it just wasn't good.
It just didn't hold up.
Yeah, but I watch documentaries like a motherfucker, so I watched this boxing documentary, and it's about, like, the young guys, like, before they get to actually compete in, you know,
like the HBO pro
for
boxing
sure.
and stuff.
And they're in that league right underneath. And they're really making a name for themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, that league is no joke, even though they're not making a ton of money. It's greasy as fuck. Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen.
Those gyms are fucking no joke. And like,
they're considering them to be pro athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Semi-professional or it's just like skaters. Like, if you're a amateur skater, you could be as good as the pros. The only reason you're an amateur is because they haven't let you in the club yet.
Exactly.
It's not like you're an amateur, you're not good. You literally have to put that amateur thing on and be like, I'm trying out to be a pro. You could literally be better than all the pros and be an amateur. Mm-hmm. So it's like, these guys are, you know, they're going to be the next boxers. Mm. And the way they think, and a lot of it's fucked up. Like, I heard that they shouldn't think this way. Like, it kind of fucked up boxing.
Okay.
But the way that they think is they can't lose. So they almost sometimes take fights that they know they're going to win. Or if there's a young fighter who's won 10 fights in a row, he's so fucking, like, nervous about his next fight. Like, he's like, if I lose this fight, I'm never going to compete. And it almost is that way. Mm-hmm. Like, once they start losing, they're no longer that guy who won 10 fights in a row and never lost. And that's like a thing. Mm-hmm. They want to get to 50 fights. They want to get to 30 fights. They never lose. And it's like, even if they get to 30 fights, 50 fights or whatever, and then they get 100 fights and now they're boxing, they might be down to lose then, because the not losing is what they wanted to get them there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I almost think like that. Like, and I got love for everybody at Rip City Heroes. So it's like,
yeah, definitely.
It's like, man, like, I don't really want to battle these guys. These are my homies. Like,
right.
And it would be dope to battle your homie, but
maybe off camera.
I might only have good things to say. So is this really a battle? Like,
you can treat it like a Comedy Central roast. Like, you can say something bad and then say something good, and then say something bad and then say something good.
Like, you're just really cool. You have ultimate swag. Like, what am I gonna say?
There's a battle on YouTube. I can't remember what the title of it is, but it's exactly that. It's them just complimenting each other.
For sure. Like,
that's amazing.
That's what I need to do. We need to have a battle like that and then see who wins.
That would be a great.
Because I'm gonna go in like, bro, you got exquisite swag. I can really tell that you're in your bag. Like, I'm gonna go hard. Like, that Rip City Hero, sign me up for that. We'll see who wins. Because I'm gonna give love. I gotta give people their roses, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. So tell me about your top hip hop influences. Like, what was the artist that you heard that really made you say, like, all right, I really gotta fucking start doing music? Like, I mean, I know you have like a musical background, but
you know what's crazy, bro? Okay, so there was influences that just made me love rap. So in like 94, 95, my dad, who is not even a big rap fan. I mean, now he's a way bigger rap fan, but
yeah,
you know, he plays guitar, so he's like, he loves classical. He loves like Red Hot Chili Peppers. He loves Miles Davis. He likes Jimi Hendrix. He likes Prince. You know what I'm saying?
Those are all amazing artists.
And the list just goes on and on and on and on. Like, he wants to find the people that people don't know about. You know what I mean? Like, he had like a whole music room with just CDs, tapes, records.
That's
you know what
fucking
I'm saying?
awesome.
And so, but when I was a kid, I remember he was cooking in the kitchen and Snoop Dogg came on the radio and he like turned it up and was like, "This is Snoop Dogg." And I was just like, "What is this?" You know? And then my mom used to listen to.
Do you remember what song it was from Snoop?
Yeah, it was the What's My Motherfucking Name?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, that was that one. And then my mom used to listen to Blackstreet featuring Dr. Dre.
Nice.
I like the way you work it.
No diggity.
And so when I heard Dre on there, and then there was a female rapper on there too. I always forget what her name was.
She was fucking dope though.
And when I heard them, I was like, yo, because my mom was listening to country, she was listening to Stevie Wonder, she was listening to everything. So like those two songs I knew were like different than everything else, because I didn't hear too much of that. And I was like, yo, this shit is something else. Like, what the fuck? And then, so I was probably like 4 or 5 around that time. But what's crazy, living in Compton is what really sparked it for me, because Dr. Dre was from Compton. Mm-hmm. He's tight with Snoop. Ice Cube was from Compton. And you just know that all these people make it from here. And then
was there something about the energy there that you could feel?
For
like
sure.
You're like, there's a reason why this place created these artists.
Yeah, it's like my mom at the time was in the Nation of Islam, and I don't agree with everything the Nation of Islam represents, but there are some elements that really influenced me and inspired me. Like the Nation of Islam is, of course, at the time, I think that things have kind of changed now. At the time was just all black. Like you couldn't even be in the Nation of Islam if you weren't black. Mm-hmm. And so I remember being in the Nation of Islam in Portland, and there was a small mosque. Like, maybe, I don't know how big it was, but in the mosque, women sit with women and men sit with men. So I remember there being like 10 or 15 seats on each side, you know. In LA, the mosque was like, in my mind, like a fucking palace, bro. Like, it was huge.
It was like an arena.
Yeah, it was huge. Like a church.
Yeah.
And I had been to a church before, because we used to be, before my mom was Muslim, she was Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been in church. I had done all that. And then going to the mosque was like, whoa.
Just put it on a whole new level.
You can't, everybody wears suits. So everybody has a suit and a bow tie. If you're a man, a boy, all the women are dressed the same. When we would pull up, like,
what do the women normally wear in the nation? I don't know much about the Nation of Islam.
Clean. Like they have these, like a hijab is like what the Muslim women wear. Mm-hmm. Theirs are different. It's like silk, satin. You know what I'm saying? And it matches.
Okay, so
silk,
it's kind of like
satin.
combined with like a headscarf kind of style. Okay,
and almost like it almost gives you the vibe of like how the sisters in the church dress.
Yeah,
with the you know what I'm saying. But when we would pull up, if all men have to open the doors for women, so it's like when you're pulling up to the mosque, it's like a bunch of men getting the doors. Like you're not going to be the only car pulling up, so you just see like people coming from the sidewalk. Like that might be my job. You know what I'm saying? Once I'm out the car, to be outside waiting for women to pull up. Like a family might pull up, and the man gets out and the kids get out, but the woman is going to sit there and wait for somebody to get her door. So even just that was like, damn, like this is really crazy. And so being at the mosque, you know what I'm saying? Like seeing the minister speak, and it's almost like Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? The energy of like he's saying something and everyone's getting turned up, like really feeling
lots
what
of passion.
He's saying. Yeah. And bro, Snoop would just come to the mosque.
That's so crazy.
Ice Cube would just be at the mosque. So it was like, it felt so regular. Like, I'm going to be them. I don't know how, but like this place is it. Like,
it was the connection.
Yeah, I'm going to be either the guy on stage who's preaching, or I'm going to be that rapper, or someone in here is just regular. Like, this is us. And so just even that, like, just the fact that they could be like, oh, welcome Snoop Dogg. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I might not even see him because he's way in the front. And like my brother is telling me like, I just saw Snoop. And I'm like, fuck, like where? I know he's here. I need to like walk up there or something. Like,
so be like, oh, my
I might just see his hand. I'm like, oh shit.
That's Snoop's hand. Yeah. I know that hand.
Ice Cube. thank you for coming. I'm like, what the fuck? So that shit was just like just being right next to him. And Steve Harvey was on the radio every morning. We would go to school, and he's live. So it's not like Portland, yeah, we got some good hosts on the radio, but you know who Steve Harvey is.
I love Steve Harvey. Yeah.
So just hearing him on the radio, and he's the one being like telling you your weather and your traffic, it's like, it's just star-studded to where you just feel like, damn, like this is just I'm one of these people. I'm here too.
Yeah.
Like they're here, I'm here.
I could imagine like LA just has that sort of vibe because like, well, when you're there, you're kind of like it takes them off that pedestal when you're not there, and kind of like, you know, we're colleagues now.
For sure.
It's like, you know, we're in the same exact community.
And then I was 9 years old when we lived in Compton. 8, 9, 10, and
those are very, like, you know, you learn a lot in those years. Like you go through a lot.
And it was hood as a motherfucker. Like it was crazy as shit.
I could imagine.
But then Bow Wow came out. And that was like, whoa. Like a lot of people hear me say this and they're like, wait a minute, Bow Wow, huh? What? Doesn't make sense. Like, I'm a kid. And my mom is like, she doesn't want to listen to all the rap. She lets us listen to the radio because it's edited. But even then, it's like, Ludacris, which, whew.
Yeah.
It's like, even when he's saying it, when they're editing Ludacris, they might edit it with a female moaning. It's like, if you a pimp and you know you don't love them hoes, but it just is edited with a female moaning. Right. It's like, I don't know.
I guess that's a good replacement. Kind of worse, but
it might be a little worse. And so she didn't want to listen to everything, but Bow Wow, all his shit's clean. So off top, we get to listen. We get the Bow Wow CD. Like, no, we don't even got to hide it and nothing.
Yeah. Well, and like a lot of people don't realize, because you and I are basically the same age, and so like whenever like Bow Wow came out, being a kid, seeing that kid get to that level,
it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like I mean that happened.
So
like,
kids can be stars.
Right? Like this, that really hadn't happened since what, like Crisscross? Probably.
Yeah, and that was before my generation, really. But I heard Nipsey Hussle say that. Nipsey said he saw Crisscross and was like, wait a fucking minute. Yeah. It's time to blow up. Like,
yeah.
And so when I saw Bow Wow, it definitely was like a light bulb went off my mind. Like, and that's when I first started trying to write. And it wasn't in song format. It wasn't, but I was 9 years old. And I was like, I'm about to write a verse about just being a kid. And
nice.
I don't remember any of it, but I remember showing it to my brothers and my sister. And, you know, they was laughing at it and shit. Like, it wasn't really good. But I do remember that, though. Like, yo, it's time. And me and my little brother would actually play with, like, our toys and shit. And be making the toys rap. I'll be making my little brother, because sometimes he'll be thinking of some
nice.
He'll be thinking of some funny shit, and I'll be
just
making
little
him,
parody lines.
Yeah, I'll be making him rap with his little stuffed animals and shit. Like, bro, this shit's hella funny.
That's fucking.
I'll be
great.
like, bro, keep going, say something else, and he'll just be making a little voice saying some stupid shit. And I'll be like, bro, this is hella funny. Like,
so you've always had that muscle in you, like it's always been there. And so I mean, like your music is really like, I mean, I've watched. Like I said, I went down a fucking like deep rabbit hole on all your stuff. I watched a bunch of your interviews and everything like that.
For sure.
And it's so cool to see how your music has really developed and aged as like you've been out. I mean, like I said, I freaking saw your very first music video, which was a lot of fucking fun. Like I said, really kind of ahead of its time. And then you know, like, which, by the way, the people that want to know, it's called Song of Freedom. Really great fucking song. I'm going to put the link for it down in the description.
For sure.
Being a kid, like I said, if I was, how old were you when you came up with that? Well, like 16?
16.
Yeah. So like, if I was a 16-year-old in high school and I saw that music video come out, I'd be like, this kid's going to be fucking huge.
For
like,
sure.
This is crazy.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Like, and like the instrumentals in it are really cool. And I've noticed that your music has really evolved to like this really great, deep spiritual side. Like you have a very deep spiritual aspect about your music. Very like your music videos where you're out in nature, like, you know, and it's fucking like there's a really heavy spirit in there. Where does that come from?
Honestly, my mom, my dad, shit that I've experienced, bro. Great. I could tell you some crazy shit. I'm gonna tell you some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and my experiences, bro. Like, I've had like hummingbirds fly up to my face. Like, I might be looking out the window, and a hummingbird just flies up, pecking the window, like right 3 fucking D, like Nature Channel. Like,
that's some crazy shit.
That's some crazy shit. Yeah, I've had coyotes walk up to me. Fucking, sometimes I'm getting so deep with the animal that I'll have to cut it off. Like,
yeah,
a raccoon at me, and when he sees me, I don't flinch. I haven't scared him off. He hasn't scared me off, and now it's just us. And he's like, what the fuck
You're
is
not a
going
threat
on?
to me.
Yeah. And he walks a little closer, and he's ready to shake my hand. And then I have to be like, okay, I'm done with this shit.
Right.
Like a squirrel will notice that, like, wait a minute, he's not like the rest of them. What is he doing? Why am I not afraid of him?
They get much closer.
And I was just, now he's just, I was chased by a baby squirrel before because I was done. I was like,
wait, no, be my friend, Swiggle Mandela.
And he was just chasing me. I have the footage, bro. He was like chasing me, and I remember his mom came up and saw that he was messing with me, and she was almost like, "You're dead. I'm done. I'm gone." That's what you're doing today, Junior. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, he's fucked." I'm not even. I can't save him.
They're gonna get in one of their iron 4-wheel death machines.
Yeah, and he had a sibling with him too, and the sibling was like calling him, like, "Get the fuck away from there!" Like he was on the tree, like steady going up, like they can look down and climb backwards, and he was like screaming for his sibling.
Like, Mom says it's time to come home, Brian.
For sure. And then the mom heard him screaming, so she came up and she was like, "Oh yeah, he's doomed."
Yeah.
She went and got the other little one, like, "Well, it's just me and you."
Well,
but then he survived because I didn't do nothing to him.
Yeah,
I just ran away. I kind of ran him back to his tree, and then he went back up the tree and was just like, I don't know if that squirrel will remember that shit, but it just had an experience. I fucking was playing with a woodpecker in the fucking forest, bro. Like when I did one of my album photo shoots.
That's awesome.
And what's crazy is I was on acid, so I was really tripping.
Yo, when you're on acid and you connect with the animals, bro,
Yep.
you like Snow White.
And
I call
then-
it namaste in the animals.
Oh,
I do it all the time. Also, I just did it to a geese yesterday. Actually,
word. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I had a
know
connection
exactly
with
what
a
you're
bee
talking about.
one time when I was tripping fucking balls. Like this bee actually was like, it was following me, my friend, but it was weird because it was like hovering by my shoulder and it didn't ever land on me,
Wow.
but it would just come up and we were fucking frying on mushrooms. Like, cause we had drank this mushroom tea that was fucking super strong. And then we walked the Springwater corridor from 92nd Flavel to 136th and Herald.
Yeah.
And we walked that whole fucking trail and there was just this bee that was following me. And then occasionally it would just be like buzzing right here by like my ear and my shoulder. And then it would come over to this side and then it would fly off for a while and then it would come right back. Like, and then I would know it's the same one because it wouldn't fly too far. Like I could still hear it. And then I would just hear like,
bro.
Like, and I was like, and I was just tripping, so I was like, he's cool, bro. Like, I was just like, I was like, I ain't even gonna swipe at you. You're all right, man. We gotta save you guys.
Yo, my manager was sober, and all me and my homies were all fucking tripping, and we had just did a photo shoot in like the ocean, all types of shit, and it was just like, to be tripping was just, it was incredible. And so we start going to the forest, and my manager, he's like, "Man, you're high." Like, he's I'm telling him, because before I got high, I was like, when I get high, I want you to know like how similar I am to right now. And he was like, okay. So I get high, and I see the woodpecker fucking with me now that we're on this trail. And the woodpecker looks like a squirrel with its camouflage. It has a stripe down its back. And the side of its face, if you think about a woodpecker, is the same color as a squirrel. Mm-hmm. So the beak camouflages with the tree, and all you see is the side of his face and that line.
Okay, so it looked like just like the side,
and
the
it's
eyes,
literally
and the tail,
it's camouflage, right? And so it's using its camouflage on me. Like, look at this. It's a squirrel, and I'm looking like, is that a fucking squirrel? And I'm tripping, so I'm really seeing a squirrel. Then it flies to another tree, like, got you. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
You're like,
so now I'm walking, and it's, every time I walk, it goes to the tree just ahead of me. So I'm like, this fucking woodpecker's walking with me. So now I'm speed walking back to my manager, like, he's not going to believe this shit. He's going to think I'm high. I'm like, bro, there's a woodpecker fucking playing with me. He's like, come on, bro. I'm like, dead ass serious, bro.
it's time to go home, Swig.
He's like, you're high as fuck. I'm like, come up here. If he's still there, I'm going to show you. He was like, whatever. So we get a couple steps ahead, and I see it doing its thing again. And I'm like, you see that squirrel right there? He's like, yeah, I see the squirrel. It might be a chipmunk, but yeah, I see what you're talking about. I said, that's a fucking woodpecker. And he's like, what? I'm like, and imagine me seeing that shit, bro. I'm tripping balls right now. And he's like, that's not a woodpecker.
That's probably why you saw
And
it.
so I step a couple steps forward to make it fly. And he's like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, bro. this fucking woodpecker is playing with me.
You're like, now let's shoot the goddamn pictures.
And we're playing. It's almost like hide and seek with the woodpecker.
Yeah.
And so
That's awesome.
it's flying ahead of me and making its noise at me like, you'll never do what I can do to you. You know what I'm saying? I could play like I'm a squirrel. You don't even know it. Now I'm flying away. Like he's tripping me the fuck out. And so I see him not paying attention to me. And it's kind of like the trail's curving a little bit. So I got a little cut that I can kind of like get ahead of him a little bit.
Okay, so you're trying to cut
and
him
I'm
off
moving
over here.
through like to where he can't see me. I'm like behind certain trees in the bush, and I get about where where the camera is, and I know he's right there. And there's a tree in front of me, and I look out. Got you. And he's like, whoa, you're
That's
different.
dope, man.
You fucking got me. Because he never let me get that close to him. It was like his thing that like, I have this barrier. You're not getting close to me. But I can get close to you and act like a squirrel. Mm-hmm. But you will never catch me. That's how I felt like he was.
He
just
wanted
like,
that edge on you.
yeah. And I heard him doing his on something like, oh, he's not paying attention to me. And when he saw me, he looked me in my eye like, whoa, flew off. He was like, I'm done playing with this motherfucker.
He ain't like the rest of those ones.
For sure. But yeah, bro, I'm trippy as fuck.
So actually talking about the animals is actually a really fucking great transition because I wanted to talk about your fucking song that you're doing for the Ravens.
Oh, yeah. Hell
Yeah. And so tell people like about the flight plan. How did this whole thing come about? And talk about the team itself because it's not really a popular team yet.
So my manager is also a football coach. So he coaches like high school, middle school, and also like, you know, semi-pro. So
Hell yeah.
He's one of the coaches on the Ravens, and he put that together, man. He asked the owners. He asked, you know, he worked his way up that ladder, and then they was with it. And so, yeah, man, we started looking for beats, and I was down, man. I was super down to do something for like to get my music in like a sports arena more. You know what I mean? More an area like that. So
Hell yeah, dude.
yeah, that's how it came about, man. My manager, shout out to my manager Max. He be putting in that work for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And so the Ravens football team is the Oregon Ravens, right?
The Oregon Ravens,
yeah, the Oregon Ravens, and it's a talk about the team itself. Is it like an amateur football team? Is it like it's like a semi-pro?
I believe it's semi-pro and it's a women's football team.
That's what I wanted to get at. That's fucking dope. Like I thought that was really cool. It's an all-female fucking semi-pro football team. That is really cool. And that's really groundbreaking too, because I'm really interested to see how that goes, because normally like back in the day, football with females was always fucking powder puff, which I always thought was really dumb. Even back in the day, I was like, what is the point of this? That's like, give them some fucking pads if they want to. Like, who gives a fuck, you know? And
it's definitely inspiring. I'm excited to watch them do their thing today. So yeah, man, it's
well, and you have daughters too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
exactly.
I got a daughter, and so like seeing like really, really strong females doing their thing is like super, super important to me, because I mean that's why I had, you know, all female guests on for March. You know, it was all Women's Month, and so beautiful. I just freaking had everybody on, starting with Betsy. Shout out to Betsy.
Shout out to Betsy.
Boss Ladies of Cannabis. She's fucking super dope, and the fact that we have an all female football team is really cool. Like it would have been leave it to Oregon or, you know, Portland or something like that to get that, you know, rolling and everything like that.
For sure. Yeah, they compete. They compete nationally.
That's awesome.
They played a Vegas team. They played a Texas team. So yeah,
I love Las Vegas.
It's a dope thing.
Yeah, going back to Vegas next month. I'm really fucking pumped for that.
But yeah, bro. Even just because I know we could just go so crazy with this shit, I got to throw a couple extra in on the spiritual side, bro.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's talk about it.
Fucking, there was one year where I found, I don't even know how many 4-leaf clovers, and ever after that year, never found one again. Before that year, never found one. My sister used to find them. When we lived in Estacada, crazy. Mm-hmm. My sister used to find 4-leaf clovers, and I used to be like, what the fuck? Like, how? I remember one day she went out and was like, I'm gonna find one. Like, and she was just out looking for clovers, like, all fucking day. And, like, with me, when I was finding them, I didn't even have to look. I would just, like, breathe and know. And I would just reach in a whole bed of clovers and just find one. And it was wild as fuck, bro. And then you might have seen this on Park and Spark. I think I said this on Park and Spark. When I was a kid, there was something at my grandma's house trying to open one of the doors in the basement. And
I think I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, bro. Like, there was you would go into the basement, and then we had a room for storage in the basement, so that room had a door. One night, the doorknob on that fucking door just started moving. And it was just slight at first, like, and it kind of wake you up, like, what? Nah.
That's a fucking doorknob.
And then it would be blatant, like, you might be ready to go back, and then you're like, wait a minute, it just did it again. Like, what the fuck? So now we're screaming for our mom. She turns on the light at the top of the stairs, comes down, nothing's there. She opens the door and everything. Stop. I'm trying to watch my shows. You guys are going to get in trouble. Like, you have school tomorrow. I'm like 7. It's like 97. Next day, it's a little more. It was like progressively getting like, now it's a real turn. Like someone's trying to open that door.
Okay.
And we're like, what the fuck?
That's fucking
But we're also
weird.
kids. We're also like Goonies, you know what I mean? Like, we believe in this shit.
That's a good
It's
analogy.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're ready for an adventure.
Right. Let's go ghost hunting.
We believe in Jumanji. It's like, we're those kids. So after we scream for our mom again, and she's literally, it stops when she turns the light on. It's like, we're on our own. Like, and we weren't really super scared of it. You know what I mean? So we'd be, as kids, like a couple nights went by where we didn't even tell our mom because we had gotten in trouble a couple times. And so one night it gets a little more serious. Like, it's really somebody trying to get through the door. And we scream for our mom, and she comes down. It stops as usual, and we're telling her, because now we're really in trouble, because she's like, you guys been doing this all week. And we're like, no, we're not lying. Like, you have to believe us. Here's what you got to do. You got to pretend like you leave. Close the door on the inside and just stay down here, because it's stopping when you turn the light on. And she's like, okay. But my mom, her name is Raven, which is crazy that I have the Raven song. She found her name in the forest, in a sense. Like, she literally went to the forest and like waited for her name and saw a raven. So she's already kind of like out there with the spiritual shit. And
That's
so
really cool, though.
She's like, I don't know, whatever. I'll just to appease you guys. So she turns off the light, pretends, all right, good night, closes the door, starts up again. She tiptoes down the stairs, and now my mom's looking at it. And literally, I could call my mom, my brother, they'll tell you the story without me telling it. She's looking at it now, and she's like, oh, hell no. And we're like, now watch, turn on the light. It's going to stop. So she turns on the light, and it keeps going. So this thing is conscious. Like, it's like, okay, I'm caught. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Now she's like shuffling us upstairs because she thinks it could be someone in the house. She's like, we got to call the police. She's yelling at it. Is anyone over there? Don't you better get the fuck out this house. Like, she calls the police. They pull up. They go down there. It's done doing whatever it's doing by the time the police get there. They open up the door. There is a fire exit in that storage room. They're like, there's no sign of forced entry. You guys have a padlock. You know what I'm saying? There's no one has been in here. There's nothing in here. They found a rat or some shit. They're like, this might have been what it was. We're knowing it's not a fucking rat.
Right.
The doorknob. But we're like, okay,
that's
thanks.
such a horror
you know what I mean?
movie excuse for somebody to say that.
Right. And so then we're telling all our friends on the block. We're telling our cousins. Literally, they know when the sun goes down, come over and watch this shit. This shit's crazy.
This ghost's going to put on a show for us.
You know what I'm saying? And so back then, we did think it was a ghost. I thought it was a ghost. Now, as an adult, I don't know what it was. You watch something on the History Channel, they're going to say it's ancient aliens. You know, you watch fucking...
It was an energy of some kind.
How I honestly look at it at this point, a possibility is that it was an organism that I couldn't physically see. And I don't know how it ate. And I think it was alive. You know, some people be like, oh, it was someone who passed away or it's something dead. Like, I don't know what it was. And so one night my mom is like, it's going so hard that it opened the fucking door. It opened the door and it was like slamming. Boom, boom. And my mom was like, y'all can't sleep down here. Hell no. And so she gets us to go upstairs. And for the first time, we see it leave over there. And it's knocking up the wall as we're walking up the stairs. So it's me, my brother, my other brother, and my sister. We're sleeping in the kitchen.
That's crazy.
Now, which is right above the basement. It has a knock on the ceiling for every kid. Boom, 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 all night, like an octopus. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what it was. I do know that, and this is crazy for anyone who's going to watch it, or like they might think I'm crazy. I don't know. But whatever that is, it exists with us all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Because in this era of camera phones, how come no one's never filmed no shit like that? Because they're so intelligent that the only time I've ever seen something that blatant was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Think about when the wind blows, something like that could be in the tree. You would never know.
Yeah.
You're thinking the wind is just blowing the trees. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely experienced it, and it is what horror movies are based off of. Mm-hmm. It is what...
Well, those energies, whether you want to call them ghosts, you want to call them apparitions, they're real. Like,
sure.
You know, it's like, and I've had some really crazy experiences with them myself. Like, we lived in this one house. It was just over in Aloha, just over off of like 185th and Farmington area. And so I was living there for like, you know, like a little while when my daughter was first born. And I wasn't the only person that had heard this, but there was this one. So there was like a little family room in the back, and then there was the living room right here, and then the kitchen. And so I used to sleep in the family room because I didn't actually have like a bedroom. I was just crashing on the couch, and so I was sleeping in the little family room area. And there was like an old ass like wood stove that was in there. And around the same time, every single fucking night, it would be somewhere between 2:45 and 3:50 in the morning, somewhere around that time. It was always around that time, and then it would be like this loud ass knocking from the inside of the fucking wood stove, and it would always be like, whoa, like, and it would be like something's in there hitting the shit out of it to the point I couldn't even replicate the sound. Like, I hit the fucking pipe, I hit the side, I did everything as hard as I possibly could. I couldn't even hit it that fucking hard. And then I remember, like, my mom was like, oh, it could be a bird. I'm like, what is it, a fucking pterodactyl stuck in there? Like, what the fuck kind of bird can be pounding like this?
For sure.
And so I wasn't even the only one that heard it. There was like, you know,
right.
So my daughter's mom, we used to sleep like I used to make like a bed for us, like on the floor in the living room. And so we used to be sleeping there, and it woke us up several times because it would just be, she would be like, what the fuck is that? And then we would be hearing it from the wood stove. Like, and then also my friend heard it when he was sleeping in there, and then my sister would hear it sometimes from like way back on the other side of the house. And then there was also this room that was in there, and there was a certain corner in the room, and when I used to change my daughter, like, I used to put her on the floor, and she would look up in this corner and just laugh. Like, she would just laugh her ass off.
For sure.
And then as she got older, she went from laughing to crying when she looked up in this corner. And then it got to a point where she would start crying until we left the room. Like, she would only, every time we walked in that room, she would freak the fuck out. She didn't want to be in there. And then, which is crazy because now my daughter is very, very, like, she's an empath. Look at all my hair standing up
from that story.
It was crazy, man. And now she's definitely an empath. She can feel a lot of energy around her of people. And I think that she was experiencing that. And then there was this one time where sorry, just let me finish the story real quick. I was doing dishes, right? And I was just sitting there, and my daughter was like in like one of those little baby swings. And you know, they had like the little like mobile thing up top, and they had the little tray of toys that are right there. My daughter never ever played with the like toys, and she would only like look up at the little mirror and the little mobile thing. So I always had the tray off the swing, and then she would just be buckled in, just chilling there, and I was in the kitchen doing dishes. And then one time I just heard like a fucking loud like banging sound, and I'd fucking dropped my shit, booked it in the fucking living room, and then I see my daughter in there. She's looking up, laughing her ass off, and the tray thing that was on the couch is in the middle of the floor. Whoa. Yeah. So my first thought was like, okay, I hope she's just like, you know, telekinetic, and she just like is fucking with me with her superpowers. You know, she's just like, I'm gonna throw this across the room and fuck with my dad real quick, just to keep you on your toes. But
you know what? To an extent, we thought that. To an extent, we talked about that. Me and my brother was like, you think it was one of us moving that fucking door? Because what we wanted experience, like, at least think about all the possibilities.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Is it a ghost?
In that kind of crazy situation, you need to look at all the possibilities.
You know what I'm saying? Because we really don't know. Scientists can't tell you.
Yeah. No, they can't. They can't even explain chi.
There's people like literally with cameras set up in these spots where it happens all the time, and they can't capture it. Mm-hmm. You're watching a show for 8 hours, and you're like, where's the fucking ghost?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you another trippy one, man. I was shrooming.
Nice.
And I was having the same conversation with my wife. And I was like, how come in this era of camera phones, we can't fucking catch them? When I know they exist on my life. I know it. I have no reason to lie. And sometimes I hear people, when you're telling me your stories, I don't know why it just sounds believable. Probably because it's true. Because some people start telling me these stories, and I'm like, you're just saying it because I said mine.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I've actually known you for 5 years. Like, how come you never brought that
How
up?
come that's never come up in conversation before?
And I remember one time a knife had flown. Okay.
Yeah,
never
flew across the room and
mind.
landed
You
like
feel me?
right next to my ear, man.
So I'm telling my wife this shit. How come in this era of camera phones we never have captured the shit? I said, because they're probably so intelligent. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, we're watching Key and Peele. We're high.
Great
on
show.
shrooms. We're like, anyway, let's get into this. And so it's a great fucking skit. I'm high right now too, so I forget which one is which.
Yeah, they're all great.
The short one is on the phone. He's standing at an intersection, and he's acting like he's looking for someone, or he's looking for someone. He's like, yeah, I don't see you. Where you at? Well, I don't know. What you doing? Huh? Where? Right at the light? That's where I'm at. Someone else walks up. He's doing this. It's that, it's the tall one. He's doing the same thing. No, I fucked it up. The tall guy's standing there first. He's already looking. Where you at? Huh? What? Short guy walks up. Now he's doing that. So I'm thinking they're looking for each other.
Yeah.
They're standing right next to each other on the phone looking. I'm right here. I don't see you. Huh? Where? Huh? So then the tall guy walks off. And the short guy says, oh my God, I just almost got robbed. So it just threw me for such a loop. And I'm high on shrooms.
I remember that.
I was like, fuck this. We're in their world now. That was my words. I literally said that. I'm like, babe, turn this shit up. Because we're on shrooms and I'm just laughing my ass off now. I'm like, that was too good. So she's like, okay, I'm going to turn it up. She starts turning it up. And I'm still looking at the TV and I'm starting to notice. And this is literally right after I say, how come we never filmed this shit? Anyway, let's watch this skit. Oh, we're in their world now. Turn it up, babe. And now it's 50, 60, 70. I'm like, okay, we don't need to be listening to it at 80. Love, like, that's good. She's like, I'm not turning it up.
Oh, shit.
Now it's at 100. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? I look at her, shit's the remote's on the bed. And I literally filmed it because we just had the conversation. How come nobody's ever filmed this shit?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so ironic. Love, why is it? So I'm filming it. I'm like, film the remote. I could literally show you the video. Film the remote. Film the TV.
Can we
now
pop,
it's turning
can
up
we
and
pop
down.
it up right here? Like, can we show a clip of it real quick?
I'm going to send it. Yeah.
Can you...
Bitch, you told me 6:45.
You said that?
Yeah, I said.
You sent it to me? All right,
Now
we'll go
it's
ahead and
turning.
show that right
It's
now.
turning up and down. And my sister's sleeping in the other room, and she's experienced all the crazy ghost shit with us. So I'm like, it's my sister. She's playing. She had the remote outside the door because there's 2 remotes. And so in the video, you see me open the door, and there's no one there. My sister sleep, and I'm like, oh. Now my mind is trying to say it's the TV tweaking. It's Hulu fucking up. Even though the remote and Hulu have never fucked up before,
right?
Till this day, I'm like,
this happens to be the time.
I'm almost thinking like it's the government. Like my mind literally thought of every possibility in a
you
millisecond.
know too much, Swig.
It's like, what is it? It's the remote. It's the TV. So I knocked the batteries out the remote because I'm turning it down, and it's almost like going against something because it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. I'm like, I'm trying
You're just fighting
so
it.
I knocked the batteries out the remote, and it's still doing the shit. So I'm like, and then my wife tries to talk to it. She's like, if you know my husband, turn up. And it's not doing anything. It's just random. It's up, down. It's up, down. So finally, I don't know what we did. I think I turned the TV off. Like, fuck that.
Unplug that
it.
shit. Yeah.
Like, if it still keeps going, then it's some crazy shit. But I started to think like, maybe it can manipulate technology. That's how I was thinking. Like,
I was just, it could be that.
And now, sometimes Hulu just trips.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking almost like, is it just doing that to make me think it was Hulu?
Or
this is how far I'm in. Like,
or is it doing it to make its presence known more? Because maybe it knew you would make that connection.
Because
maybe
now it's like, How ironic.
Because if you have that
was
connection
it that I literally just said in the era of camera phones, we never filmed it. Anyway, love, let's watch the show. And now the volume's back and weird.
See, what exactly? It's making its presence known right the fuck away. Because if you have that connection with nature, why wouldn't you have that connection with like pseudo nature?
You feel me?
You know, like.
And then I might have been that same night or a different night. Me and my wife shrooming.
Yeah.
And I'm telling her.
Well, that puts you on a whole different plane.
We've stayed up all night, and I'm telling her, now I'm looking outside, and the sun's coming up, and I'm like, I'm finna prophesize. We're about to take over. Like, shit's about to be huge. I just start going in. Like, I'm so powerful. You're so powerful. I start going in. And you seen Street Fighters?
Yeah.
You know how the Hadouken used to look on the video
game?
game?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm looking out the window and I see a big, huge Hadouken outside.
It's fucking crazy.
And all the electricity turns off on the whole block. And I realized what I just saw was the power generator fucking blow up on the goddamn light pole.
Oh, okay.
And so right when I was saying all this crazy shit, I'm like, whoa, everything shuts down. Like the whole block, like you hear it, like insane. Thunder,
vibrations and energy, man.
And
yeah,
my wife is like, "Are we fucking gods? What the fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. This is crazy.
We're demigods."
I don't know. And she says, "It's okay. It's okay. All we have to do is connect." And on her word, connect, all our power turned back on for a second. I hear the fucking microwave, the everything, all the lights, everything.
That's fucking
and then
crazy.
Turns back off. And then we find out that there was a car accident, like blocks down or something, that had hit a light pole, and like our whole neighborhood's fucking power was out. You know what I'm saying? But just that experience, even for her to say connect, and on her
right
word,
at that last, yeah, that's fucking.
It's all
crazy.
On her word,
exactly,
the shit turned on.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
And I was like, what the fuck? So there's even it goes back to music, because I remember one time we were in Las Vegas, for my wife's birthday. Shout out to my wife. She's like puts on so hard. And she's like, even though it's my birthday, we're here to handle business. Like, you need to do your music shit here. We're in Vegas. I'm like, okay, I feel you. So we
really
go
the
to
networking capital of the U.S.
We go to the Aria, I think.
Oh, I love the Aria.
Yeah, and it's fly. You know, it's nice. We're staying at the Palms.
Nice,
high up. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. And it's my first time in Vegas, and she's been there. On the way out of the Aria, we're going to the chef. I forget his name. He does Hell's Kitchen. We're going to his restaurant. On the way out of the Aria, I think I see DJ Drama. And he's literally coming in and we're going out. And I'm like, that guy looks like DJ Drama in my mind. And I do a spin move, and I'm walking, and he's looking at me now. And he's thinking he's looking at me now that I'm realizing he's looking at me like, if you're going to come get this autograph or this picture, do it. You know who I am. And I'm like, is that DJ Drama? I keep thinking that in my mind. And my wife is like, do you know him? I'm like, he kind of looks like DJ Drama, but I don't know. She's like, if that's him, you need to go over there. I'm like, nah, it's not him. We go I think it's Chef Gordon, maybe. I might be wrong. But
Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to his
Kitchen.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Fire food. And we're sitting there, and I get on my phone, and I'm like, I go to DJ Drama's Instagram. He's having a fucking day party, a pool party at the Aria. I'm like, fuck, that was DJ Drama. So now my wife is like, what the fuck are you doing? You need to handle your shit. Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, my bad. I'm not doing that anymore. We go back to the Palms to just for the night. And I see someone else that I kind of recognize from a Rick Ross video. And I'm just like, I've seen him in Rick Ross videos in my mind. I double back and do it. And I'm like, he's looking at me now too. But I feel like he could be looking at me like, what the fuck are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who he is, but I kind of recognize him from a Rick Ross video. And my wife, once again, is like, do you recognize him? I'm like, I think, but all I know is that I've seen him in Rick Ross videos, like a cameo. Not like you see DJ Khaled in a Rick Ross video and you're like, that's DJ Khaled. Mm-hmm. It was just like, he looks like one of Rick Ross's homies. So I'm like, it just could be Rick Ross's
like your
homie.
eyes have passed him at some point.
We get on the elevator. There's a promoter on the elevator. He's chilling. As soon as we get on, he's like fixing his shirt, his hair. He's like, yo, you know Rick Ross is here tonight. You know, I can get you guys tickets. I'm like, fuck. My wife is like, you're fucking up. You're recognizing all these people. You've studied this shit for years to the point where you're recognizing people that I wouldn't know who the fuck they were. And I'm like, damn, fucking up. So now I'm kind of feeling down on myself. And it's the same energy I feel as like when I go to the forest sometimes looking for an elk or looking for a deer or looking for an animal and I see a rabbit or it's like I know I'm going to see him, but I know that I couldn't. I might not because you might not. It's just almost the same feeling, bro. It's like finding a fucking dragon or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck. I got some weed. I'm like, I'm about to go outside and smoke. My wife's in the room. I feel like I'm fucking up. And I start getting that energy of like, I need to find a deer. I start getting that spiritual energy. I get on the elevator. I'm going down to the first floor of the Palms where the casino is at to go outside and walk, smoke. And I'm feeling like, man, I got to find my deer. And I see somebody walking and their hair is sticking out of their hat. Makes me feel like deer energy.
Antlers. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there go my deer. And my mind kind of like, not even really, but I'm just gravitating, walking towards that direction now. And I just start walking faster. I'm like, I'm going to get in front of this person. I don't know why, but. And I get in front of him and I'm like, are you Coolio?
Oh, shit.
And he's like, yeah.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
And we take a picture. I get his number. I go back up to the fucking room and kind of like prank my wife. I'm like, I saw Coolio and I just let him walk past me. She was like, what? I'm like, nah, I got a picture and his number. You know what I'm saying? And it's really that energy, bro. Like, I remember Jim Jones came to town and my homie was telling me, like, Jim Jones coming to town. And he just telling me, like, I'm like, I'm not booked for this show. I don't know any of the promoters. What does Jim Jones coming to town mean to me? And he's like, bro, it's in our old neighborhood. Like, this is just things he just feels like you got to be there. They going to our old neighborhood. Like, he don't even know why he's saying it. He just got
put
that
yourself
energy.
in the same room, you know?
And so I go there, and I'm not expecting to meet Jim Jones. I'm just like, I'm here. But if I'm going to try. Like, when I first see the Sprinter pull up, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, I know he's in there. Because I'm like, that's what celebrities drive around in. No one else is walking towards that Sprinter. But I'm like, that's probably him. I see a Sprinter. So I just move over there. Then I see Jimmy getting out. I'm like, yep, I was right. This might be my time. Heart thumping. I'm like, ooh, I'm finna say something. Like, and I do. I'm like, what's up, Jimmy? You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, what's good? I almost want to ask for the picture, but I'm like, Then I noticed my mentor, one of the people from the Salvation Army who used to work there, is driving the Sprinter. I'm like, oh my God, my fucking big bro is his driver. This is easy. So now they're just walking in a, like a school of fish. And I'm just getting swimming in there now. I'm just standing next to my mentor now. So Jimmy's just up there. I'm with my mentor. I'm talking to him. Of course, they're getting ahead of us, and it's at a historical hotel in North Portland. And so Jimmy goes into one of the rooms, and I'm talking to my manager. I'm like, bro, you got to get me in there, bro. Like, what can you do? How can you? I mean, my mentor, and he's like, there's nothing I can do, bro. I'm just a driver. I don't know. I'm like, tell him I'm your artist. Tell him I'm your nephew. Something, bro. I don't know. Yeah. He's like, bro, I don't want to overstep my boundaries. And I'm like, he's like, but that right there is his cousin. I'm like, okay. Then he's in the room now. I'm like, all right. He just threw me the alley-oop to the cousin. So now I'm talking to his cousin. And I recognize his cousin from Dipset movies because I used to watch like Cameron's movies. He made a couple movies. And so I'm like, man, I know this dude from somewhere. And he has like an old school Dipset chain with the eagle on it and shit. And I'm like, I start telling him who I am, introduce myself to him. We're talking, he's introducing himself. And I tell him I got a gift for Jim Jones. I just brought him a shirt. He was like, yeah, we can go in the room. Fuck.
There you go.
Boom, we're in there. As soon as we get, Jim Jones didn't even expect it. He's like high, sleep, kind of. He's like, what the like, how did these guys get in here? Like, cousin, what are you doing? Type shit. Almost. And then as he gets up, he just grabs the shirt off top and tells his cousin, like, take the picture, man. I'm like, damn, this already. And then while we leaving, because, he had a song on my homie Swag. I'm like, yo, I remember you had that song on my homie Swag. He was like, oh, shit, for real? His whole energy changed. He like, man, tell Swag I said what's up. And, like, now we got a song with Jim Jones and shit.
That's so cool, man.
So it's all it's crazy, bro. But it's all connected. It's like finding the 4-leaf clover.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I'm
real,
saying?
man. And it's like putting yourself in those right places at the right time, putting out the right energy, and the right things will happen. I actually experienced that myself when I was just in Las Vegas, because I wanted to go there and make it the golden networking opportunity that I possibly could, because the show actually is a partner to the Bud Tender Awards down in Las Vegas.
Nice.
And so I got to go down there and go to the after parties and shit. They had a
Ooh,
big ass
hell yeah.
party at the Mandalay Bay, and then they had an offsite after party. I was staying at the top floor at the Flamingo. It was
Wow.
fucking dope.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a great time.
sure.
And so I wanted to make it like the golden networking opportunity that I could. And the people that I fucking met, it was crazy, you know, like, so they had this one thing there. I grew up watching professional wrestling, you know, back in the old WWF days, you know, in the 90s and shit. Yeah. Okay. So perfect. So do you remember Gangrel? Dude, I got to meet Gangrel.
The vampire.
Yeah, dude. It was fucking crazy. And
I
so
got vampire fangs on my grill.
I saw that, dude. Those looked
Sure.
fucking dope. And so I was there, and I just wanted to, like, you know, meet as many people, put off as much energy as I possibly could. And
Gangrel was definitely one of my favorites.
dude, me too. Like,
Especially like on the video games and shit too. Like he's fucking coming out of coffin and shit.
right, dude? Yeah. Or that ring of fire that he would come
Hell
up with the
yeah.
fucking goblet of blood and spit it out on everybody and shit.
For sure.
Yeah. And so I was there, and I just like wanted to make it that I met as many people as possible. And like, so they had this thing there at the expo called Canna Pro Wrestling, and it's like a weed friendly professional wrestling circuit that they have. Yeah. And they put up a ring there, and they were putting it on, and Gangrel was wrestling in it and shit. And it was really fucking dope. And I was
That's lit as
talking
fuck.
yeah, I was talking to one of the wrestlers afterwards there at the bar, because they had like a happy hour section. And so we were waiting in line together, and I was like, dude, I fucking loved watching you guys. I grew up watching wrestling. We just chatted for a second. And then this guy walks up to us, and he was like, hey man, you want to take that picture now? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he takes a picture with the wrestler. And I talked to him about coming on the podcast, and he was talking to this dude, and he was like, hey man, this guy's Joe. He's got this podcast. You should freaking talk to him. I'm going to come on soon. And he was like, yeah, that sounds dope. We freaking, I give him one of the cards, and we just talk it up for a second. Fast forward to when I come home from Las Vegas, I see somebody tag this guy, and I'm like, oh, that's the dude I talked to. I click it. The dude's a fucking UFC fighter. Wow. Like, I'm not going to say his name right now, but I'll tell you off air. But yeah, the guy's in the fucking UFC. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
And I think it's because I didn't know who he was. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Joe. What's your name? Like, and I just introduced myself. And I think maybe that's why he was showing an interest.
For sure.
Maybe that's why he was like, oh, okay. You're not trying to fucking like bombard me with anything,
sure.
you know? And I met all sorts of crazy, amazing people when I was out there. Like, so I had the founder of the whole event. Shout out to Keith Allen. I'm going to freaking have you back on the show, by the way. He's the creator of the whole Bud Tender Awards. I had him on the show. And then I was like, you know, chit-chatting with him for a second at the expo, and then we were talking, and then he introduced me to this one guy, and he was like, hey, Joe, this is so-and-so. He's a really cool person to know. I got to go and talk to these people. You should watch this one next speaker. And then me and this guy talked for a second, and then we just kind of parted ways. And then we're at the after party after the whole thing. And we're standing at the bar, and this dude approaches me, and he was like, hey, we met earlier, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he told me, he said, well, I met you earlier. You put off this energy. You have this aura about you. I needed to get to know more about you. He was like, I thought, who is this person? And then I told him about the show, and he was really impressed and stuff like that. And then come to find out, the dude's like was one of the keynote speakers in the whole fucking thing. And he's like, has this really amazing story, very successful guy. And now he really wants to like do some work together and come on the show and stuff. And it was really just crazy, all the different experiences and the people I got to meet and everything. And
that's real.
It was amazing.
That's real.
It was amazing. I got to talk for a second with Jaden Hostler, who's actually he's doing a new song with Machine Gun Kelly. He's going on tour with Machine Gun Kelly, and he does a new song with Travis Barker right now, because Travis Barker was performing.
Oh wow, yeah. Crazy thing is, when I was in Vegas, he was performing also.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow, what are the odds of that?
He was there with Rick Ross.
See, that's serendipitous right there. That
For
we
sure.
both happen to be in
Even
Vegas
the
at
Gangrel-
different times. The Gangrel thing.
For sure.
You were
It's
meant
like-
to come on this show today.
Like,
happens
I used
by
to
chance.
pick Gangrel all the time. Like, even his, I mean, even his swag, like the ruffle fucking.
Dude, isn't that great?
You know what I'm saying?
I saw him at the after party. No, it was at when Travis Barker's show at the Mandalay Bay. Like, I was at the freaking bar, and I was walking by, and then he was just standing there by himself with a drink, and then I walked by him, and I was like, dude. Like, and he just kind of looked at me. He's like, what's up, man? Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm not going to lie. You're a huge part of my childhood.
For
And he
sure.
said, that's fucking awesome, bro. And then he like gave me like, you know, a freaking little hug and shit. And then I was like, you know, just talking to him for a split second. And then we just parted ways. And then like later on, we kind of just like noticed each other. I was like, what's up, man? Just
For
kind of
sure.
like gave each other a head nod. And I was like, I felt like I was like buddy with Gangrel. That was pretty fucking dope. And
those moments are definitely important, man. Like, really brushing shoulders, bro.
Yeah, dude. And it was such a giant confidence boost too, because like I'm one of those people, like, you know, I'm very, very hard on myself. I mean, you're a musician, you get this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, when you're creative, you're your harshest critic, and you're just constantly,
For
you know,
sure.
just really being hard on yourself and stuff. And to see so many people have faith and to see all the different potential in the show and everything. Like the guy I was talking to, the one that, you know, is like he was one of the keynote speakers. He told me, he was like, I don't want to scare you. He's like, but I see this all the time. This is what I used to do for a living. You're going to be a fucking massive success.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you're going to make it. I don't want to put pressure on you. He's like, but you have the qualities that I haven't seen. And I'm like, really? Like, and I'm like, it's like, cause I was like, I don't even know how I'm here right now. But
You know,
it was,
I honestly be feeling like anything. This might sound egotistical. Also, anything that I'm involved in, I feel like is gonna blow. So in a like that guy was telling you the truth. You feel me? Cause
I appreciate that a lot, man.
Like, anything like, cause I honestly feel like my star is literally just gonna keep rising. Like I'm about to blow the fuck up.
That's how
in
I
a
feel about.
crazy way.
That's how I feel too.
And anyone who has content with me, this shit's gonna go up. You feel me? Even
That
like
means so much to me, bro.
even like the
I
shit that
appreciate
we're saying right now, like bro, this is not regular shit. Like the shit that the universe has revealed to me, to you, like it's not, bro. It's insane. Like it literally. You feel me? Like most people I know have never seen or heard some of the shit that I've seen. You feel me? Like even there's so many people. Like I met Lil Nas X just on a fucking. Well, my cousin is a DJ. You know what I'm saying? There's so many connections, bro, that just let me know. Like my cousin's a huge DJ in LA.
Nice.
Shout out to Gabe C. He's one of the hosts on a show on a podcast called No Jumper.
Oh, I'd love No Jumper, bro.
Bro,
I love No
you feel
Jumper.
me? My little brother Timmy Hendrix. Shout out to Timmy Hendrix. He just was featured on a No Jumper video that got 250,000 plays.
That's so cool.
You feel me? And then my cousin works there. So then my older brother submits a video that my cousin is in. And so now Adam and all the homies are watching it like, wait, what the fuck? There's Gabe.
So crazy.
So like the
man.
story's just coming together to where now, for one, my little brother already, so they do like a song review thing where Adam and all the whole team, they'll watch your video for a certain amount of money. It helps the YouTube keep going. You know what I'm saying? But they do pick like their favorites. My little brother was one of their favorites.
Nice.
So he puts out this post, and it's like a continuation of his old SoundCloud rap thing that he used to do, and he hasn't done it in a long time. So it's his first one in a while, and my little brother's in it. And there's also these cats from Florida, these two twins who are like clickbait. They're like the new 6ix9ine. He puts them as the fucking cover. So this thing is just clickbait. You know what I'm saying? It's literally, my brother's plays have been going up and up and up and up. He's just been getting all types of new subscribers. You feel me? And so yeah, that video did 250,000. Bro, like even on my acting side, like I run into celebrities all the time. Like, oh my God, what's his name, bro? That weed you gave me was really good. I am forgetting names right now.
Shout out to freaking my homeboy Nate, who hooked up the Great Valley Kush from Shango.
Yes, there's the Great Valley Kush. I'm fucking with that heavy.
Yeah.
That's that good shit, man. That's that.
It was
that
dank.
real show, that fire, that gasoline, that pressure. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to go on a high trail. What is it? James Franco? So and the brother is Dave.
Dave Franco?
Dave Franco. Okay, here we go. And I think it was Dave. Okay, so my wife, like, quarterbacked my whole fucking acting, being a background person, being an extra, being a model, that whole thing.
That's
She,
so
like,
cool.
Just, like, managed that whole shit and just got me into, like, movies and documentaries and, you know, like, Discovery Channel shit, Netflix shit, Hulu, whatever.
This is all news to me, by the way. This is pretty dope.
I'm in the background. You feel me? So there's even another woman, and I'm so high right now. I want to look at my phone and remember her name, but she was on Saturday Night Live. I want to say her first name is Annie. I'm
Anna Gasteyer?
Nah, I'm smoking too much. But
I got you.
She's a star of a show called Shrill that comes on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just one of the guys in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a journalist, so like I'm the guy just rustling papers in the back. Like, I work in the office, so I have to be a consistent person.
Oh, okay.
So like I got to know all the extras. Addie, is her name? Oh my god,
I think so.
what?
Let's see. Yeah.
80.
80. Yeah. AIDY. So
80.
however you would pronounce that. 80 Bryant.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's
so
funny.
yeah, the show is pretty funny, and it's like I want to meet those people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I might start talking to the co-stars at the the rap party, so I can figure out where the after party for the rap party, so I can take a picture with 80, because you know what I'm saying, I grew up watching her all the time, like laughing on Saturday Night Live, like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing her on TV, and so it's so many. So there was a movie, first one that Dave Franco ever directed, his first movie, and he filmed it in Oregon. It's like a horror movie. It's pretty good.
Nice.
But I think it's called The Rental. Yeah,
Can
it's
you
called
look up the name
Rental.
of that?
Yeah.
The Rental?
The Rental.
Oh, okay.
And me, my wife, and my daughter are in that movie at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you'll see why we're at the end. It's like hella creepy.
That's so cool, though.
But I remember, because I watched him growing up too, just laughing all the time, just all his shit. And I remember like getting on set and just like hearing his voice. I didn't even see him yet. He was like telling somebody, he's directing, so he's like saying something like, "Camera's over here," and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
You just recognize that voice
For
right
sure.
away.
And he was super chill. Like, my daughter didn't know who he was, so she's talking to him like he's someone who works there, because that's how he's acting. He's like asking her like, "Do you want something to drink? Do you want anything, like popcorn? What are you thinking?" And he like brings her a Coke or something. She's like, "I really want Sprite." You know what I'm saying? It's just funny, like she's talking to Dave Franco like that.
She's
And,
a star.
Yeah, just seeing him do his thing, you know what I mean? Like, he would like trying to make the table look natural. I remember he just like spilled a little popcorn and put something. He like, well, maybe take a little popcorn from there. That's too much. Maybe one more. Like, just seeing him like put shit together. Like, put this cup here, maybe there. I'm like,
That is so cool.
and he's just talking to you regular too. Like, you know what I'm saying? He is directing you, like, but then at the same time, he's like, where are you from? Like,
He's treating you like a
appreciate you guys
person.
being here.
Yeah.
Even like we were talking about like growing up and shit, so much so that the camera guy is like, "Okay, we're ready for that shot." You know what I'm saying?
That's so cool.
Yeah, and
man.
it's just like, damn.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Man. That is. I had no idea that you did acting too.
For
Because
sure.
we also have something that we're working on right now. So if you're down to freaking be a part of it, that would be sick, man.
I'd be down.
I'll tell you
I'd
more
be
about
down.
it after we're done.
I want to get deeper into it because I enjoy it. Because with this rap shit, I really feel like elite. Like,
Yeah.
it's nobody really fucking with me. Like, if they are fucking with me, I like to work with them because they're my peers. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really feel like
You've definitely
I know what I'm
climbed up.
doing when I'm writing. I know what I'm doing when I'm performing. Toward acting, I don't always know what I'm doing.
So you want to flex that muscle, you know,
I
because
wanna, like,
you're
and I
always a
enjoy it.
student.
Even when I'm like doing the background stuff, I like that because I'm not the center of attention, and I can be out of the way. I like to be out of the way. Like, you're not really, as extras, we can really start kicking it because we're all homies, and like, there's times when y'all could just sit for 4 hours.
Yeah, well, that's what mostly acting is. Hurry up
They're
and
just
wait.
setting up the scene, you know what I'm saying? And we're sitting, and so like, homegirl brought her ukulele. He's got the dab pen. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? She's got cards, and it's just all of us. And it's like wants to be a model. I'm a rapper. And it's like a damn near like a school. Like, we all just get to chill.
It's like a creative stew.
Yeah, it's like people of all ages because they need it to look like real life. They're not just getting so. It's like, and then like I might go do a Honda commercial, and I knew him from that show, and it's like a circle. It's like you just get to know everybody, and yeah, like I just like to be. So we can start kicking it, bro. Like, we might be laughing as soon as cut. Now everyone's laughing because she just said something hella funny. Their 80s like going off script. Everyone's it's just like damn. So sometimes they don't care for laughing, but we might be really chilling. We've all become friends.
Yeah,
and it gets kind of like. Yeah, y'all need to tone it down. You know what I'm saying? And so I like not having to be told.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet. Like, I know to get out of her way. I know to be out of his way. I know where I'm supposed to be standing. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? They got shit taped off. And I like to not be the person where like, hey, can you get from over there?
Yeah, right. It's like,
Can you stop talking?
Yeah.
We need to get the scene. It's like, I'm
Your
glad
direct-
that I
your-
like to really not be that person.
Your director / AD voice is pretty good too.
For sure, I
Can
like
you
to
stop talking, please?
Yeah, like sometimes I really have to extras, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I like to be on point, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get shit done. And I like to watch the acting, especially when they're like, okay, say it like you're sad. A little less sad. Say it like you're happy. Well, say it like you're afraid and a little sad. Now say it like this. It's like they're just doing the same line. And
That's funny.
working
You
through it
sound
and,
like Dave Franco, by the way. Just like that sounded like a Dave Franco impression.
Yes, it's remarkable. And
That's
to see like
awesome,
the
bro.
camera sometimes, like there might be a camera that is on like a track or something to where it can move so quick that if you're in the way of it, you might be injured. So it's like you really got to be out the way when they
Yeah.
press that button, and it's like an Xbox commercial or some shit. It's about to zoom in on someone doing something crazy.
You got to be ready
laying
and
upside
on
down,
point.
and
Yeah.
the camera's like, shoo, like fucking
It's so cool to
60 miles
watch.
an hour or some shit, and it just flies across, and it knows where to stop, and it's like, yeah, I mean, even the food, bro, like they cater, it's like all type of shit. So sometimes people be like complaining, like, this dry ass sandwich they gave us. In my mind, I'm like, oh, this is lit as
Yeah,
fuck.
you're just like, we just got free food. Like, I'm getting paid for this. This is dope.
I'm getting paid to sit here and tell everyone I'm a rapper.
Like, yeah, I literally can just promote music, get paid, get free food,
And then watch
And then I get to be-
incredible art be created.
exactly.
Like, wow.
And then at the end, you got to fucking see yourself in a goddamn movie. So
It's
like
like,
it's
this
a
is
win,
flawless.
win,
Like-
win.
And then sometimes, like when I was doing the Wonderland Murders, because at one point I couldn't even say any of this because the shit hadn't came out yet. Like there was a long time when I couldn't tell people that I met Dave Franco because it's like you cannot speak about this until the movie's out.
Yeah.
And so I was be like, I'm at a Hollywood actor. But I was in the Wonderland Murders, and they had me do so much stuff because they needed people. You know what I'm saying? Like I got full SWAT, and so my face was covered, and so I kicked in the door.
Nice.
And then because I was SWAT, they were like, well, he was SWAT, so we could make him the hotel guy. So now I'm the clerk who's helping the investigators, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, if we put a hat on him and turn him around, he could be at the party.
Yeah.
And they're like asking, like, because you can really work your way up in that, in a sense. There's someone who's just doing cables.
Yeah.
And so they're asking the cable girl, like, can you be at the party? And she's like, I've been here all day. I'm trying to go have dinner.
Yeah.
And they're like, what about you? I'm with it.
Yeah.
I
Fuck
haven't
yeah.
been here all day.
Yeah.
And it's like you get to meet directors, you get to meet actors, you get to, and everyone's doing their own thing too. So she might be like, oh, I do the cables here, but like I make hats.
Nice.
They're like, oh shit, like
Everyone's got a side
look at this
gig.
Instagram, all these hats I made. Like, oh wow, you know, like, but I'm really some people are there volunteering, and they're like, once you're done volunteering, you might be the light person, or you might get to hold the boom, and now you're like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like an internship.
there's so much shit. Like some people are not even getting paid. Like I might see someone who was an extra with me, and now he's doing this. And it's like,
Well, and also it's really good to also make those like connections and build that community because you never know where this person is an extra today and they're a fucking lead next month.
For sure.
You know, it's like someone, and then you want to make sure that you're always good with everybody because you never know who's going to be your freaking superior in
fact.
the future. You know, who could be the one to slingshot you up.
and I vibe with so many people. Like there's so many dope people. Like that was really like for me, like almost like going back to school, just going and being an extra. It was even times like for Shrill. They had like a roller skating party, and the whole office was supposed to go roller skating. And I never roller skated, but like I'm like, how hard could it be? Like I'm gonna do this shit. Shit was pretty hard to be roller skating for the first time.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But I learned to like roller skate because of being on that show. And,
Hell
like,
yeah.
it was pretty fun.
Roller
and it was
skate's
pretty-
popping now too.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like just the whole experience, and yeah, so
That's fucking dope, man.
and it's all connected, bro. Like a lot of the people there, they wonder like afterwards, like how did this guy get to meet so and so, or how did he? And it's like, bro, I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is like I don't know if you have a very very different approach with your whole climb, you know, and I think that's one reason why you're able to put yourself in these situations is because like you're looking at doors that maybe people don't see, because there's a whole philosophy that I have that's and as far as like with the growth of the show, and it's very 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 similar to the way you're doing it as well. And we'll talk more about it off camera because I don't want to share it too much with the world. But I know he's probably running out of juice in his cameras, probably, right?
Yeah, that one's getting pretty close. This one's good to go for a while.
Okay.
GoPro's dead.
GoPro's dead. Okay. So that's why you can't see Shelby anymore. So before we do wrap this up, I want to get your first time you ever got stoned, man, because it's a story I always get on the podcast. So tell me about the first time you ever got high.
It was terrible.
I love it.
It was, oh my God.
I want to hear terrible pot stories.
I was scared. I was scared. I didn't even think, like, after I smoked for that time, I was like, the stories were true. Shit, it's the devil's lettuce. Like, this is bad. But I smoked with my sister, man. And she was with a whole bunch of like, man, some hood ghetto people, man. Some nice street individuals.
Who usually always had the best weed.
Yes, and they were so cool. They were cool as fuck.
For those that don't know, that before legalization, the street people had always had the best chronic.
God, they were cool as hell, and this was my sister, so they were all girls. And in my mind, I was like, I couldn't even believe I was hanging out with these girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm like, my sister is so tight. Like, she got me kicking it like with all these girls. Like, this is just lit. I never even kicked it like that. And plus, these girls are we're kids smoking weed. Like,
yeah.
I'm bad, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure,
Clearly.
definitely.
I think I was like 13, maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're smoking a blunt. I'm getting high. And it's like, okay, I am high as fuck. Feel me? I had drank a beer before, and I'm like, this is not the same. I'm gonna tell you what's fucked up. One of the homies had pulled out a lighter, like a fucking the old crackhead lighter, like a plastic one.
Oh yeah.
And had cut it on both sides, and put the roach in the lighter.
Oh, okay.
As a pipe. And so now people smoking the roach out the lighter. Now, in my mind, I know I smoked some plastic.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so you seen Training Day?
Oh, yeah.
What a good movie. Such a good movie.
Are you talking about like the scene in the car where he's like, what?
In the car when everything turned green.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it was that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, boom, boom. Like, what is going on? And apparently I was still chilling because I was laughing and jumping and doing all. And my brother had to like sit me down because I was smoking with my older brother. He had to sit me down. And he was like, bro, you're tripping. And I was like, what, for real? He was like, nah, for real. Like, you're tripping. Like, you're drawing attention to us. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Like, oh, no.
So now I'm super conscious. I'm like, this is crazy.
Which makes it like a million times worse.
For real. And I feel like I was missing shit to where if I'm looking at you and then I look over here, I missed all of this. I only saw this.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like... You know what I'm saying? Like, there's every 2 seconds I'm missing something.
I know exactly what you're talking
about.
about.
Fuck. I need to like damn near hold on to my brother because I'm like, I'm gonna fall. I'm missing shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So we get to my homie's house because we used to be able to kick it over there. I'm like, I cannot go home this high. Like, and this is my first time ever smoking. My brother had already smoked before, and he was telling me like, it's chill. Like, you drunk a beer, like you gonna be able to smoke. And so I'm telling him like, this is not the fucking same. This is fucked up. I'm at the homie's house high as hell. His big brother, he's like way older than us. Well, we're in middle school. He was in high school. So he's like finna graduate. He's telling me like, yeah, man, that must have been some fire. Like, he's laughing at me and shit. Like, damn. But as I got older, I smoked again. Cause after that, I was like petrified. I didn't want to smoke
I
anymore.
ain't touching that shit
that
ever
shit's fucked
again.
up. I'm like, Dr. Dre is crazy.
Yeah, right.
This is why Eminem is insane. Like, what's going on? And so when I was probably like in high school, I smoked again. I don't even know why. Like, somebody convinced me. I don't even remember who it was. I think it was some of my badass homies I was kicking it with. I got a lot of bad homies, man. It's a lot of street motherfuckers.
Yeah,
a lot of
too.
gangsters, a lot of all of that. Shout out to all the homies, man. But we were smoking, ditching school, and it was cool. I was like, damn, how come it's not like before? And I kind of started putting the clues together in my mind as I kept smoking, because I wanted to smoke again a couple days later. I'm like, shit, I think I'm ready to smoke again. Like, that wasn't so bad. Start smoking every couple days. Like, okay, this is cool. And then as I started to smoke every day, I was like, what the fuck happened back then? I'm like, yo, it was that plastic. My memory was like, what was so different back then?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm smoking blunts now.
Yeah, right.
You know, we smoked a blunt and then put it into a fucking plastic pipe. You know what I'm saying? And so the first time I smoked was a nightmare.
Well, I'm glad you fucking decided to give it a shot again, man.
Oh, yeah, man. And now even the blunts are out. It's only joints.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it keeps me sane. It keeps me leveled, you know what I mean? Because, you know, been through a lot, going through, you know what I mean? I lived in Compton, I lived in Oakland, even living in Estacada was an experience. You know, I lived in.
I could imagine.
Yeah,
like,
you know, for sure.
That's Estacada's got its atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, that's the first time, you know, being little kids.
And I love Estacada. Lots like
love.
that's
Shout out to the homies. But yeah, little kid, man. They was you know, what's the word? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe, but instead of tiger, they say the N-word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, this your homies. Like, they don't even know it's wrong. You feel me? It's just, so, yeah, man, just everything. You know what I'm saying? Living in Oakland was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Living in Compton was crazy. Even living in Northeast Portland. You know, I got a lot of homies that died, even this year.
Yeah.
You know,
Portland's got its
homies,
pockets for sure.
Homegirls, fucked up shit. Rest in peace to everyone who passed away from senseless violence. But yeah, you know, been through a lot. Anxiety, all kind of shit. So, good joint. Yeah.
Slows it all down a little bit.
Definitely.
Well, dude, this is like the longest episode that we've ever done on the show, and so much fucking fun. I really had a fucking blast having you here, man.
Yeah.
I'm
glad to be here.
I can't wait to have you back on the show. We're definitely gonna do this shit again. Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm glad that we're homies now. It's really great to meet you, man. I appreciate you being on. Any shout outs you want to give before we sign off, man?
Man, shout out to the whole gang, La Familia, Gang Music, Money Militia. Man, all my Antelope Fisherman homies, man. You know, JC Cordetta, Timmy Hendrix, Figure 8, K Prince. Shout out to my manager. Shout out to my wife. You know what I'm saying? My kids. You know, the whole fam. Yeah, we going up.
Hell yeah. Definitely. Definitely got to fucking keep pulling each other up, man.
Yeah.
To the moon. Ain't that right?
To the moon and beyond.
All my fans, anyone who ever supported me in any way, because this shit is crazy. You know, we going somewhere, so.
It's insane whenever you're on the climb and you kind of like take a second to really look at things and you're like, oh shit, like this is insane.
So I get numb to it.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember I was stoked by 100 likes, and now it's like, if I get 300, I'm like, I wish it was 500. If I get 500, I'm like, could have been 900. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I get excited about those little tiny climbs too, like those little bits. Awesome, dude. Shelby, thanks a lot for all the beautiful images. Your cameras have been fucking workhorses. Thanks a lot to Canon for fucking providing such amazing material, and GoPro too. And thank you everybody for tuning into the Hippy Speedball podcast. It is Joe, your host with the most, Joe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Okay.
Ready?
Let's get it. Swiggle. Look, let me give you the rules. My niece and nephew gon' need them some shoes. All my hunters is blue. I'm just paying my dues. If the rose is the city, then my people the roots. I want my 20s with the Harriet Tubman. I'm a slave to the money, but I'm planning on running. Riding down Rosa Parks, she riding like Rosa Parks. Listening to Portland Parks, you know who the fuck we are. 503, that's the hottest degree. But I'm still so cool like a college degree, yeah. I swear I wrote a book when my bro got booked. I smoked a book when my bro got booked. Everybody want the baddest bop or the fattest knot, but all of that shit matters not. I be that ghetto superhero like I'm Static Shock from the city of roses and semi-automatic shots. Yeah, that's it. Yes, Sirski.
Fuck yeah. That's dope, bro. Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you so much, man.